Good evening, everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Rakesh Borah. Mr. Borah is a rewards professional with over 7 years of experience of working in fields like compensation and benefit strategy, execution and governance, employee wellness, recognition HR, and also on mergers and acquisitions. He has also had the experience of being a HR business partner and a talent management specialist as well. Mr. Bora is interested in the domain of HR analytics, employee experience, and employer value proposition. He pursued his post graduation from IIM Calcutta in the 2013 batch. He is also a senior certified professional by SHRM and is currently a member of Young Advisory Board of NHRD Bangalore chapter. Welcome, sir.
Here's the introduction about this topic, and so I want to start with a couple of quotes here, right? And one is from Simon Sinek, and he's one of the most popular, social media influencer currently. And what he mentioned is that when people are financially invested, right, they want to return, but when people are emotionally invested, they want to contribute. Now, hold on for a moment and try to relate the fact that you as an individual, or I as an individual, suppose have invested in certain things, financially. Maybe it is a bank deposit or anything. And I will definitely look for return, maximize my return. That is human nature, maximize my return. And, want a solid profit after a certain period in time. But if you, the same person, suppose you start a company, right? Start an organization, start whatever, small or big, doesn't matter. But you start you have startup on your own. So imagine the emotional connect about your startup or emotional connect with your company. So what will you, derive out of that? You will obviously not looking for return immediately, but you want to contribute to the growth of that startup, right? So this is one of the analogy why I wanted to put in the beginning itself, is that it is a lot about how connected you are to certain things, and that is how the creation or increase of engagement happen, right? That is the first quote about that. And the second quote is from Vineet Nair. He's the former CEO from HCL. I think he was a CEO from 2007 to 2011 or 13. I don't exactly remember, but he was a very popular CEO, and he coined this term called employees first, customers second, right? So in your MBA colleges or anywhere, you will always hear about customer-centric organization, customer satisfaction. You will hear a lot of values about customer success and all. But here is the person who is very popular, who brought a lot of profitability or visibility to HCL in the country. He mentioned that employees first and customers will come second. If you treat your employees well, if you treat your employees with respect, with quite a bit of good benefits, good engagement, then your customers will obviously will succeed in the long run. So this is what the second quote is all about. And for your interpretation, or just for your funny note, I put a Dilbert comic here. So here he mentioned that in any organization, you will keep hearing this term, I have improved employee engagement, my team is totally engaged. Here's a person who's saying that his employee engagement got increased by 19%, but the other person don't even know what exactly employee engagement is. So the person is not sure, and that is where the whole things come up. Even if you don't know certain things about engagement and all, you just throw a number that you have increased. But ultimately the thing is that the fundamental things are not right. It is not about numbers anyway. So there will be a lot of definition if you go to Google or any website or any search white paper you read. You will get a lot of example or definitions on employee engagement. But one of the things which strike me this diagram is that it touches the employees, head, heart, and physical capabilities. So it says that the employees' intellectual and emotional connection with an employer demonstrated by motivation and commitment to positively impact the company's vision and goals. So this is, although it is very small definition, but it has a lot of things in there, right? And if you try to elaborate towards the right side, you will see that there are some of the key words there. It is about employees' passion and commitment to the organization and the job. It is not only about individual employees' needs and needs, but he needs to be committed as well as passionate about to the job he is doing or the organization he or she is working for, right? So, and also there is another, couple of word there, which is called extra mile. So there will be a lot of instances, majority of the people will just try to meet the objective or meet the goals they set or their manager set for them in the year. But engaged employee, how they do differently is that they go for the extra mile, right? They will see how they can help out to the organization. It is not about doing your job only, but they want to contribute far more than that, right? And engagement can never be transactional, as I mentioned. It can never be, the transaction of certain instance only. It will be multiple of that. Employee engagement is also about your behaviors in the organization, the emotions you feel, while going to the organization, working in that role, etc. And also different relationships. You have a relationship with your colleagues. You have a relationship with your manager. You have a relationship with different departments within the organization. So it is all about that, how engagement can be, different for different employees based on their positioning or based on their, responsibilities in the organization. And the last part is what engaged employees does. They have pride in their job and organization, right? So if I'm not very happy with my job, if I'm not very happy about the environment that my company is providing to me, if I'm not happy with the colleagues that I work with every day, then obviously that will be detrimental to my engagement. That is another part of it. The another thing is that if I am quite engaged and if I am quite happy with all this, whatever the offerings the organization is providing to me, then I will also try to refer my friends, refer the other people from different companies that this is a great place to work. Here the culture is different. Here benefits are different. So I will be an ambassador for the company. So that is how the engagement is, defined as such.
My question is how diversity at workplace increase the employee engagement?
Yes, very good question. So that inclusion and diversity is one of the very strategic area of many organizations, right? So imagine a situation. You're a mechanical engineers, right? And there are 20 mechanical engineers in your team, all from same college, all from same area, right? And you think about the diversity they will bring to the table. There is no diversity as such, right? All from the same college, same region, same ethnicity. There is no difference. But at the same time, if you talk about another team where there are 20 mechanical engineers, maybe 2 from north, 2 from south, 2 from western India, 2 from central India, 2 from, you distribute according to that. All of their upbringings are different. Their social, political scenarios are different. They have seen different things. And so, again, out of 20, suppose, 10 are female, 10 are male, right? And you imagine the different perspective one employee is getting. After a certain point in time, employees will not want to work with the same kind of people all over again and again and again. Because as a human being, you like to learn new things, right? Why people go out? Some of the people, I studied in Vellore, I studied in Calcutta, I'm from Assam. Why I wanted to explore that? Because I can learn from those culture, those people there, right? And this helps a lot. Your perspective gets changed. If you compare somebody who did from class 1 to MBA, staying at his home, right, and staying in his hometown all this while, like 20 years he studied, and somebody who studied 10 years at home, 10 years in different places, you will see difference in their perspectives. I am not telling that some perspectives are wrong, but you will see the difference in the perspectives, and that's what diversity brought to the organization and and that also increased the engagement level. That many research papers show that. But before doing that, one of the primary things is that inclusion, right? We always talk in Volvo Group. Actually, we talk about inclusion first, then diversity. We don't call it D&I. We call it IND. right? So inclusion, what happens is that if your employees are not doesn't feel included in the decision making or conversation, etc., then that engagement will never happen. So inclusion is prioritized over diversity. Diversity is good, but if you don't treat it properly, if you don't include everybody, then the engagement will go for a toss.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My name is
Mm.
Akshita, and I'm a first year student. And, sir,
Mhm.
I just have a very basic and small doubt. Like, when we were discussing about the motivation factors, that is intrinsic and
Mhm.
extrinsic. So,
Mhm.
can we say that which motivation factor is better, or we should have both the factors?
Yeah. Uh, if you attend organizational behavior subject, right, in the first year, so one of the thing is always about balancing this out, and it will be, I will say, it will have a lot of context around organization about the individual. So an individual who is having financial trouble, I will say that, okay, is having financial trouble, or he's looking forward to something for his child or for his family members, he will be focusing purely on pay, right? Purely on the pay, and he will try to switch jobs because he want to grow in the ladder, and that is what he looks at. Maybe his purpose may be different, but circumstances forced him to go to that extrinsic more than his intrinsic beliefs or and. But if you talk about which is better, I will not have a clear answer. But what I will say is that if you follow your intrinsic motivation, and if you are aligning your intrinsic motivation and you are finding those things in an organization, you are surely going to succeed. Because after a certain time, you guys, I'm not sure if you have studied already. There's a theory called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So there is a basic needs, then there will be specialization. Basic needs benefits, all these things. So once your compensation or salary or which are like extrinsic motivation, those get satisfied, then next what, right? And there will be always an organization which will give you 20%, 30%, 40% increase over a current salary. So you cannot keep changing that. After a certain time, the stagnation will come. But your purpose, you can to a long time period, or your values you can adjust to the organization. Because many employees, what we have observed is that even they are not earning so much, right? Even if their salary growth doesn't happen that way, but they're sticking to the organization because they can relate with the organization. There are top level engineers as seen in my organization who are sticking to the organization for the last 20 years because they knows that what they are building on every year, right? They swear by the product they contributed to, and that is where they get their calling. So as I said, the context can be quite different. If I feel totally forced by my circumstances, then for a short term extrinsic motivation can help me. But if you look at the long term thing, always the intrinsic which will win over. So that is what I can talk about.
Enjoyed this session, and it was more heartening to see, a lot of questions coming. Being fielded to Mr. Rakesh, and he has very, very eloquently answered. Given his views on that. You have made my job easier by understanding the nuances of engagement, and especially with the changing employee expectation. I think you have covered the entire spectrum of what employee he expects, and how you should engage them so that all three H, your head, heart, the way you started, head, heart, and hands. So you're not just buying hands, you have to engage with their minds and heart to get into their heart.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
personally enjoyed this session,
Hmm.
and also
Thank you.
could assess from the questions that our boys and girls have also enjoyed it thoroughly. So once again, let me thank you for sparing your evening, and thanks for being part of Symbinar.